green screen this for a minute here. Just for a minute. Just while I'm sitting out here for a minute getting ready. And there we go. That's a much more. Alrighty. Alright, so here's the thing, right? You might notice there's no live chat. There ain't gonna be no live chat. Because I'm gonna be very honest with you. I'm making music today. I'm not gonna be paying attention to chats. I apologize. I'm not being a dick. It's just I'm not paying attention to chats. I'm just strictly making music. So today we're working on the eighth song for the album. Oh, there's disappeared for a second there. Yeah. This is gonna happen, you know. I don't care, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, so today we're working on the eighth song. Yes. Alright, anyways, we're working on the eighth song for our for the album. Well, I'm working on the eighth song for the album Colorful. So there is no chat because I'm not gonna be able to pay attention to it. You know, I'm gonna be too busy going around. I'm not sure what I'm gonna start with. The name of the song is called Spiral. I'm not sure if it's gonna have any lyrics. Not sure if it's just I'm not sure if I'm gonna start off with drums or if I'm gonna start off with keyboard. I'm not really sure. So we'll get there. I have to get my mind kind of set for it. As you can see in the background in Colorful, it's supposed to be a modern retro take on 70s psychedelic music. Um, so yeah, you know, I'm getting myself in the moment, smoking a bowl, drinking some coffee. Sorry, smoking a bowl, drinking some coffee to get ready before I go in there. And so I'm not sure. We're either gonna start off with the rock organ or I'm really trying to, like I told Marcus Vin that we're gonna try as long as we can to hold off on the heavy metal because next month I'm getting an electric drum kit and I want to, you know, because like right now we're just using the MIDI control for the drums and stuff like that. My plan is to have my whole studio by the end of the year, and I've already got my guitars. I got to get one fixed. Actually, I got to get two fixed. But I got my guitars. I've got my MIDI control, which is basically my keyboard, my piano, and right now my drums. So yeah, and I will not be able to pay attention to the chats. So if you want to watch how I make music, that's what this is for. It's kind of like look, it's like I'm treating this stuff like a diary. Like it's like people wonder why I release some of the music that I've released. It's because, dude, I want to show progress when I do have progress. I want to show progress. So I think a lot of early bands, you know, sometimes their first album is like the best. Sometimes the first album's the only. You know what I mean? Sometimes their first album's the start. Sometimes the first album sucks, but then they get better. You know, and I think that's kind of the road I'm going under. Is that you know, my first releases all kind of sucked. I know that. I'm not dumb. I'm still learning, but you got to give me credit, all right? And we're going in a minute. I'm getting myself prepared before I go, you know, kick some ass on some instruments. But I think that you got to give me credit for this, right? I didn't take any lessons from nobody. I've been teaching myself the guitar, and people have been like, calling me ignorant because I want to be organic about it. I don't want to learn um, fucking Stairway to Heaven a million times over. I don't want to fucking learn other people's songs. Like, I don't want to play other people's music. I see all these bands out there. Fine, that's great. That's good for you. I don't want to do that. For me, it's about getting in that studio, creating something great, and then, you know, if I um, if I'm lucky enough and sometime hook up with some like-minded folks, it'll be about going on the road too, you know, and playing around my area. Not I'm not looking to do huge venues and nothing like that. Damn, this freaking phone's a pain in the ass. I'm not looking to do huge venues or nothing like that in my life. I'm old. I get that. But I want to be able to do small venues eventually, someday. Who knows? Right now, I mean, I'm just using technology and I'm making music. So that's kind of what it is. Um, I know that I'm seeing a lot of people come in and out, and this is how I'm also weeding out some of the people who want to just come on and be assholes. Because I've kind of noticed that a lot on YouTube here. You got a lot of people who want to come on, they want to troll and everything else. I'm not allowing it. Like, this is going to be about music. I'm getting myself prepared to go play some fucking music, and you guys are, if you're here for the ride, great. I live in a medical marijuana state. I have a medical marijuana card. So therefore, I smoke medical marijuana. That's why I made this video, not for children, for one. For two. I mean, I'm about to go do some, rich. Look, so this album behind you that you see right here, Mark, the colorful album, right? It's my nod to some of my favorite kind of music when I was a teenager. Pink Floyd was my. Excuse me. A little bit coffee for that. Pink Floyd was my absolute favorite band, when I was growing up. A lot of my heavy metal, when I do it, it's all coming from things I used to listen to: Cannibal Corpse, Type O Negative, oh my god, Slayer, Anthrax. Notice I'm not saying Metallica, because look, man, I was introduced to Metallica with the Black Album, and then I went backward. Like, I don't like their load stuff. I just think that they kind of, whatever. Pop metal is just not my thing. I don't want to be pop metal, and if I ever became pop metal, I'd have to probably like retire and go ride a pink horse or something, and I'm just not down with that. So, um, so a lot of what I do is, either based around like Type O Negative meets, Black Sabbath meets Slayer kind of issue. I like to be realistic. We like to we like to emulate the bands that we listen to without stealing their fucking material. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to fucking go in there and steal Black Number One and then call it Black Number 51 and try to, no. But you do, like, you'll listen, like, I'll listen to music that inspires me for that moment, and then go in there with a fresh mind, like, all right, well, how would they go at it fresh? And that's kind of how I do it. And I always put myself in uncomfortable situations, because that's kind of how you learn. That's. But you got to give me credit. All right, I've been doing this for 3 years. I picked up the guitar. Actually, I can't say that. I've been producing music since the pandemic. Since a little bit before the pandemic. And then I met a couple of guys up the road, and I started playing with them for a while during the pandemic, and I sang. We didn't really make a lot of sense. The music didn't make a lot of sense, but we had a lot of fun doing it. But it just, later on, listening to it and stuff, the music didn't make a lot of sense, because our guitarist, who happened to be our leader, because at the time I wasn't even really playing guitar or nothing. But I was like, he sounds all right, But I couldn't do what he wanted me to do, because he couldn't do what I wanted him to do, and it just didn't sound right. And so, that music got deleted, and I started up when a friend of mine gave me an acoustic 3 years ago. Then I got an electric and bought my amp. Started plugging it into the computer, and history happens. I freaking history. Yeah, like I'm some fucking big major figure, but no, you know what I mean. Like, freaking. Then I started, playing guitar. Then, um, and it always seems to be, somebody gives me like an instrument or something, right? That my wife gives, for Christmas, gets me a MIDI control. Knew I needed one. Knew I wanted one. Went out and got me one, and now I'm playing piano, keyboard, organ. Um, I do know how to play bass. I just don't have one yet. I will be getting one. Like I said, next month I'm getting a drum kit, an electric drum kit, and yeah, I'm gonna go from there. You know, so you guys, we're about to go in, and I'm about to get started on Spiral. I don't know exactly where to start because I'm wholeheartedly gonna be wholeheartedly gonna say, man, like the playing on this playing keyboard drums is new, and so you're gonna have to bear with me if when I get to that part of it, because yeah, because yeah. Oh, gotta turn this down. But all right, so yeah, we're gonna remove the green screen now. All right, let's see. Can I flip the phone? All right, so that's the view we get where I'll be recording. It's a nice little view. And yeah, I'm gonna set up here for you guys. Uh, I don't care about that. All right, guys. All right, I got to get myself set up here. So I'll be back with part two in about, because I don't know if you can pause. I mean, if I don't like the idea of pausing on people as it is, but I'll be back in about 5 minutes because I want to get myself like completely ready before I get set up here because I don't want to stop in the middle of it and oh my god, I have to go to the bathroom or something like that. So I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'm gonna go make another cup of coffee, and I'm gonna get us into the program and get the equipment out that we're gonna start off with, probably the MIDI control, and we'll see you then. All right, so I'll be right back.